All right. So we are back with another post game little podcast Ryan and I are going to do week in and week out. Just the immediate reaction from the Sunday afternoon game following the Sunday night game, which actually, did you see who won that game? The Sunday night game? Is that
It's
over
looking
yet?
like it's looking like the Chiefs are gonna pull away. I'm watching
Yes.
Mahomes fall on the ground right now. I don't know what he's doing. He looks a little banged up, but yeah, it
Right.
looks like the Chiefs are gonna win. So kind
Gotcha.
of good for us in the big picture way of thinking of it, because although it's annoying the Chiefs keep winning, whenever an AFC team is playing an in-conference opponent that we're gonna play, like the Falcons, you would want to root for the AFC team for sure.
Right.
So yeah, I guess getting into the game, we are 3-0, which I don't know if I had us starting off as 3-0. I think you might have, but can't be much happier about the opening season for Mike McDonald's career. I mean, like, it hasn't been perfect. It definitely has been pretty a lot of the times, but this game in particular was never close. It got a little annoying for a while, but there's never really a moment where the final score was in doubt at all.
No, in fact, I kind of thought it reminded me of like whenever it's slow at my work, people do like kind of a shittier job because it's like harder to focus because there's
Yeah.
nothing happening. And I kind of felt like that's how the game went today. Like the Dolphins were never really a threat to beat us, but we were just kind of like, because we had such a big lead early, I felt like that that warranted sloppy play. Um, which I don't know, maybe we just haven't had too many opportunities to put our foot on the gas pedal. I'm thinking maybe that's why we were kind of sloppy there towards the middle of the game and the end of it.
Mm.
But I don't know. That's kind of just my little synopsis because I never really thought we were in any serious doubt to win that game. Like especially when Tim Boyle went in, I thought like when Gino threw that interception, when I was like, why are we passing? We should run the ball. And then he threw that pick. I was like, all right, if this was against any other quarterback, I'd be concerned, but this is just making the game more annoying.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't really even concerned about losing. I was just so sick of watching us like shoot ourselves in the dick over and over again, because really for all of the second and third quarter, our offense was damn near unwatchable. Like, there was the occasional first down, the occasional, nice completion or run, but so many plays in this game and in this season so far were either blown up by the interior offensive line just being bad or committing a penalty after a good play. I mean, at one point, I think we were on like third and 35 in this game, something like that. That's just not winning football. I know we won the day today very easily, and I won't spend this whole post game pod shitting on the offensive line, but I think it is the first thing that needs to be talked about, because I'm stoked that we're 3-0, but man, they really got to get their shit together for this Lions game, because we've had a pretty easy slate of games, all things considered, to start out. And we're about to have to go against Aiden Hutchinson and an offense that isn't quarterbacked by Tim Boyle and Skylar Thompson or Jacoby or Bo Nix. So what we have passed the test thus far with flying colors, but I feel like the real deal in the season is starting next week.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. And I was like, even I know Lakin Tomlinson didn't have like an atrocious game, and I forget our is it Anthony Bradford?
Yeah. I
He's the
think
other.
Bradford is the weak league of this, frankly, like the whole team right now. I hope he just gets better, because I don't really see us making a move unless they somehow make a trade for another guard. But yeah, Bradford has been a big problem so far, and he was a huge problem today.
Well, like you were saying, like I think maybe last week or today, why don't they? It's concerning to me that they can play so bad, but Christian Haynes isn't getting like an opportunity to start because
It's odd. I don't get it. I definitely don't get it, because I don't know, and I feel bad being so mean to Anthony Bradford, but frankly, I don't know how you play much worse at NFL right guard. It's not like right guard they're asking you to block, like the Nick Bosa's of the world. You're going up against like three techniques and nose guards, and you're just getting destroyed by everybody. And Bradford's a big guy; he's a big boy, and it's in the run game too that it's happening. So I don't know what they're gonna do. Maybe they just need to give him like a real good pep talk or something. But it's curious that it hasn't triggered at least like a rotation with Haynes. Like
Mm.
is there like an injury with him? He's not showing up on the report at all. So I don't know what they're not seeing with Christian Haynes to get him out there, but I would definitely like to see it just so we can know, you know, like
Right.
if we see for sure that like, oh wow, he's just totally unplayable, then fine. But I'm at the point where I'd like to see them make a change there for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at our numbers, like the team stats for the game today, and I didn't realize how inefficient we were on third down.
Yeah, what were we? 3 for 11, I
That's
think.
terrible.
Yeah, not great. And well, but a big reason for that is a lot of our third downs were like 3rd and 11, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20, stuff like that. Like you almost never see anybody convert that. So it wasn't an efficient day at the offense, but I guess I want to shift gears here towards the positive because I feel like I've beaten the dead horse of Anthony Bradford and Laken Tomlinson enough so far this season. There were three killer drives this game. One of them was basically just one play to DK, which was awesome. That's 2 weeks in a row of a blown coverage where DK is just the fastest man on the field.
Mhm.
But that final drive, starting at our own 2 yard line to drive 98 yards down the field, Gino goes 5 for 5, and Charbonnet has multiple 10+ yard runs with the finisher where he makes a little juke move on the cornerback there to get into the end zone. That was awesome. And that was kind of just the exclamation point on this game of it's over, you're done, go back to Miami. Like let's just end this ugly ass game. Um and you look, you know, as ugly as it looked out there, we still had 370 total yards. We still
Mhm.
had 270 passing yards with the 3 sacks we gave up, and we rushed for 100. So that's going to be competitive against basically every team. 6 yards per play, nothing wrong with that, and 24 points. I think we're averaging about 24 points right now, and we haven't gotten less than 23 through 3 games. So as frustrating as this offense has been, the actual results are still pretty damn good so far. And I believe Gino is first in the NFL right now in completion percentage and second in passing yards.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. My personal player of the game, who I want to give the game ball to, is my guy Zach.
Sharb,
Yeah, he had what was it, 91 yards on 18 carries. It's over
he had a
five.
couple.
That's over 5 yards a carry.
Yeah, I mean, he actually had quite a few explosive runs today, too, like runs of like 10 yards plus,
Hmm.
average over 5 yards a carry. And he also snagged 3 receptions for 16 yards. So he went to 107 on the day in total yardage. That's awesome
Yeah,
for
he
that
basically
for your relief back to do that. That's great.
yeah, he basically averaged 5 yards per time he touched the ball, which is more than what you want.
Yeah, that's efficient winning football right there for sure. So hats off to Sharp. I thought Gino played a mostly pretty dang good game, but he just had some ugly when pressure was getting insane back there, he made a couple just bad decisions. Took a sack that I thought he had plenty of time to get rid of the ball. And then the 2 picks, both of them were pretty fluky, but he still didn't need to put the ball there. You know, like it could have
Well,
the
the
results could have been better.
the second pick was terrible because we should not have been. I mean, I liked that we were passing, but we should have mixed in more runs. We were just doing pass, 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 and it was just eventually that he threw a pick, and it's like we're already
Yeah.
up big in that at that point in the game. Let's just fucking end the game so no one gets hurt. Fucking run the clock out and get out of there.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. It was just kind of a fluky, weird day, and I think this will normalize and stabilize, especially if this line can. I don't think it can get much worse, so it has to get better, right? So I think we'll see better results there. But a couple more notes here. DK once again going over 100 yards. Noah Fant looked like good Noah Fant today. He looked faster. He didn't drop any passes. He was 6 for 6 on his targets. Lockett 5 for 46, and Jigba 3 for 39. And we had AJ Barner's first 3 NFL receptions.
Hmm.
Guy from Michigan making an impact. It looks like we try to get Laviska Shenault like one target a game for whatever reason. Today it went for 2 yards, but I guess that's noteworthy. No Bobo today. Kind of disappointing. I think the game would have been over long before halftime if we got Bobo involved.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of mouths to feed today. I'm happy that DK, what is this, his second 100-yard receiving game in a row?
yeah.
Kind of feel like he's coming into his own there. Still, I mean, he did make one hell of a contested catch. What was it early on in the game
Oh,
on
yeah.
the sideline? That was awesome because we
That
were
was
just
one of the
talking about it
best.
last week how he struggles to make come down with those. And
And that was one of the more impressive ones you'll ever see, frankly. Like
mhm.
tiptoeing on the sideline with a guy all over you and then just kind of like holding the ball in one hand away from him. That was maybe the best catch I've seen DK make in his career so far. So really encouraging to see that. I want to switch gears here to the defense because we've talked only about the offense all game, but the defense was our hero today. And I know the test was a gimme. You had all the answers. You cheated. You paid for a subscription on Chegg to get the answers to your online test in whatever class. Like that's what they were dealing with today. But hey, just because your opponent is beat up and playing Skylar Thompson doesn't mean it's not impressive to hold them to like nothing. The only points the Dolphins got today were off that shadow of his own goal line interception
Mhm.
where it went off the hands of Charbonnet, bit out of his reach. And besides that, they literally did not give up any points. And Derek Hall is looking like the real deal. He had 2 sacks today. I think he has 4 on the year already. And that's what I would have guessed he would have gotten for this whole season. So the
He also
fact
had
that
a
he's,
forced fumble.
yeah, yeah, and he had a hilarious sack to end the half too, where he snuck up behind Skylar Thompson. Also, side note, I hope Skylar Thompson's okay. It's unfortunate that he's in this situation, having to play when he wasn't expecting to. But yeah, I definitely never root for a guy to get hurt that's just trying to make his money in the NFL. So hope he's doing all right. But yeah, the Dolphins did not have a functional offense at all today, and I feel like the players are just dejected on that sideline. Like the body language of a lot of the Dolphins receivers was just very. They looked like they didn't even want to be here, more or less.
I like seeing it. It was fun for me. I didn't even. I had to like. Remember, I was asking, is Tyreek Hill even playing? Because we didn't even see him out on the
Yeah,
field for like the first half of the game.
and I think he got what? Like, let me check here. I think he got 3 receptions. Yeah, 3 receptions for 40 yards on 5 targets. Wait a minute, I didn't even notice this in game. Dwayne Eskridge caught
I'm seeing
one
that now.
pass for
One catch
30
for
yards
30
against us.
yards. Yeah.
All right, well, good for you, Dwayne. Proud of you. But yeah, I mean, the Dolphins, what did they average yards per play? I think it was like 3. Let me see.
Mm,
Yeah, the Dolphins averaged 3 yards per play or 3.7 yards per play. That's I
that's
think,
really
and
bad.
I think we've forced every team we've played thus far to a number about that rate.
Hmm.
We got 6 more sacks today, no turnovers, but um, only gave up 65 rushing yards and 140 passing yards to 205 total. That's an awesome performance. I don't care who you're playing against. These are NFL players. And they're like, it's not like Skylar Thompson's a rookie either. I mean, he's young, but I think he's older than Tua actually. So,
Yeah, wasn't he
uh,
taken like right before uh, Brock Purdy in the draft?
yeah, yeah, he was. But he was a really old, he was drafted at like 24 2 years ago. So
Mm.
I think he's already 26. But yeah, all this to say that was just a phenomenal performance from the defense. And my one worry going into this game, we talked about it, was having some bleeding in the run game. And for the outside of a couple explosive runs, we held Devon Achane, one of the most electric players in the NFL right now, to 2.7 yards per carry. That's awesome. And that's with Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams going down mid game.
Yeah, but both of those injuries didn't seem to be that serious anyway.
No, I
I
haven't
hope.
heard I haven't heard firm updates from McDonald yet, but they both kind of, they weren't like limping, they didn't need help off the field, so that's usually a good sign that they'll
Hmm.
hopefully make it back for the next game and we're going to need them. But yeah, we also were playing pretty banged up in the linebacking core today. So Zach Thomas and Tyrese Knight both had to play a lot of linebacker for us. And I thought for the most part, they played pretty good. I think that first Dolphins drive, they had a couple hiccups in coverage, but after that, it was like lights out.
Yeah, that you mentioning Tyrese Knight reminded me of this, but only because Tyrese Knight had a similar play, but it wasn't flagged. But the play with Devin Witherspoon where he made a boneheaded uh
Oh, the late hit out of bounds.
yeah, I'm just like, I mean, that was a ticky tacky call, but he could have easily just stopped himself from making those moves to draw the penalty. And
Yeah.
this is the second week in a row where he's kind of made a couple dumb mistakes. So he'll probably clean that up, I imagine. But just a little bit like, come on, man, what are you doing?
I feel like he has a similar thing to DK where there's such intense players. Sometimes they cross the line into like boneheaded territory. But I think he'll find it because DK hasn't really gotten any unsportsmanlike penalties or unnecessary roughness penalties this year. He's figuring it out.
I
So
wonder if that has anything to do with Mike McDonald's regime and philosophy.
we'll credit to him. I mean, there's no way of us knowing, but
I mean, probably not, but like it always annoyed the shit out of me when Pete Carroll like defended him and like basically lied to us to our faces when we knew he was lying.
I think I don't think Pete would ever tell you, but I think he kind of likes guys doing that stuff. I think he enjoyed it. I
Yeah,
think
probably.
he thought the mental impact of pissing the other team off so much was greater to our odds of victory than the penalty yards. That's my theory. Don't know if it's true, but
It's probably true.
I think when you read between the lines of Pete Carroll, he's kind of like a lot of the guys he had over the years, like Richard Sherman or Old Thomas. They're sort of a reflection of parts of his nature. Like he's a very positive, upbeat guy, but he likes to get in people's heads and talk some shit. I think
Yeah. No,
that
I
was always
agree.
my perception of him, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, McDonald seems just like a straight shooter and no nonsense kind of guy. And one thing I've noticed, especially in like the post game interviews so far this year, is guys just seem all 100% business all the time, like locked in and prepared. Like we've had a lot of guys had to play already that weren't supposed to coming out of training camp, and they've all you haven't really seen us miss a beat bad. Like
Hmm.
you look at some other teams out there, and it's like their starting corner goes down, and then I'll immediately like an 80-yard play is given up, stuff like that. We
Right.
haven't really had that happen yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Besides the line.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to updates on Abraham Lucas because man, I mean honestly, Stone Forsythe, he had a pretty good game today.
I
So I
really
can't really knock him for anything
Yeah,
really.
I have not noticed that big of a downturn with Stone Forsythe. Like I know he's not like ever gonna get a Pro Bowl vote for his play, but he's been a solid right tackle for us. He hasn't been a disaster revolving door back there. So good job so far Stone's Forsythe. God, that's a weird sentence to say. Um and I think this is actually like his fourth or fifth season with us, isn't it? Because we
We
or
drafted
maybe
him the year we drafted D. Eskridge. So
that's right. So 2021. So yeah, this is his fourth season. It's crazy. Time flies, man.
man,
Um,
I was just gonna say, like, I wonder what it takes, like, because Stone Forsythe, he's always been a big guy. And I'm just like,
he's like 6'7", isn't he?
yeah, and I'm just wondering, like, what does it take to like get opportunities to start and keep your starting job? Because I mean, like I said, I don't think he's done a terrible job. And I think playing against three shitty quarterbacks in our first three games, I mean, I'm hoping in a perfect world, maybe that gave our line the time to develop and kind of get the miscues out of the way early. Because I mean, remember last year when our line was terrible at first, and then it was our like strong point of our team,
Mhm.
and then like a couple weeks later is just bad again for the rest of the year. I'm I'm hoping or just wondering if maybe, you know, this time they've had to play against shitty opponents will prep us, you know, for games that we're going to need them to play with cohesion.
I hope so. I really hope so. And the amazing thing is, as many growing pains as there's been, we are 3-0. We are at the top of the conference and we have a 2-game lead on anyone in our division because the Cardinals lost today. The Rams pulled off a miracle comeback against the 49ers, last second field goal to drop both of them to 1-2. And you take a look at the dynamic of the conference right now. I'm going to pull up the standings real quick,
Mm-hmm.
and the NFC is essentially wide open, and a lot of the players you would have thought were going to be like big competition in the conference are not looking that great, even if they have been winning. Like the Vikings are 3-0, and they look pretty legit. Like I I don't think the Vikings are doing anything fluky. The Eagles, they're 2-1. I would not be afraid to play them. We beat them with Drew Lock last year. The Saints looked more like what we expected them to look like today. And then the
Mm-hmm.
Buccaneers just got their ass beat by the Broncos at home.
Yeah, that made no sense to me at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm just looking at conference.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, all our division games are going to be hard, but I love that they're already all at 1-2, just so we have some breathing room there.
Yeah, I can't believe the Steelers are 3-0. That's fucking insane.
The thing with the Steelers too, like I feel like their offense is like 5% better than it was last year, and their defense is just as good as it was. But their defense is good enough to win and keep them in a lot of games. So they're just winning these nasty, boring, disgusting games now. And I kind of don't see it stopping anytime soon because unless they get a bunch of injuries on defense, they're gonna be tough to score against all season.
Yeah, I'm just also looking at this now, and us and the Vikings are the only two undefeated teams left in the NFC.
I know. And in the whole league, just the Chiefs and the Steelers are the only other two teams with no losses. Or I guess the Bills too. They have a game tomorrow though. But yeah, we're right up there with the elite teams and a lot of important stats too. Like our defense is playing lights out. We have right now statistically a top 5 quarterback, and we
Mm-hmm.
have 2 running backs that are capable of going over 100 yards, great receivers. I think we can play with anyone. We just got to figure the line out. And yeah, the like it's bizarre with a first year coach to be talking this way already, but this thing's wide open, man. The NFC does not look good this year. Quarterback play is way down, and we got one of the best ones currently. Who knows if
Mm-hmm.
it holds? But a snapshot of the season right now, we have a consistency going right now that a lot of other teams are not enjoying.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm God, it's really bizarre seeing I like it's crazy seeing how the Panthers just flipped it around
Yeah,
today.
I know. Andy Dalton just came out like a man on a mission. And it reminded me of when he played us last year because, like, he didn't do great, but he had a few throws where I was like, God damn, like, why do quarterbacks always play so good against us? Because Darnold was, or not Darnold, God damn
Dalton.
it, Dalton. Too many D's. Darnold, Dalton. Um, yeah, Dalton was just like throwing dimes against us, and he like torched. Who were the Panthers playing again today? Was it the Raiders?
Raiders.
Yeah, he torched the Raiders today. He had like 260 yards and 3 tutties in the first half, and
God,
he's like 37.
the NFL is so funny. I was just thinking last week at by the end of last week, I was like, wow, maybe the Raiders are a good team.
I
I
know
was
they
wrong
just
about
beat the
them. And then
Ravens.
they suck.
Yeah, it's wild. The parity is so crazy in the NFL, and I feel like To start this year more than ever, the NFL is so unpredictable. Like I just thought the Texans, for example, were about to go on a roll because they looked so good in their first two games, and then they get shellacked, like just destroyed by the Vikings. The freaking Browns, I was like, oh, that's an easy win. They got the Giants coming up. They lose. The Steelers are 3-0. Broncos blow out the Buccaneers at home. It's just all over the place. And then, yeah, you have the Carolina Panthers putting up 36 points after their offense was so bad the first two games that they benched their number one overall pick.
Also, the Cowboys were like they did the most cowboy thing ever, which was get destroyed early on. And then, of course, it being in unpredictable fashion, they decide to like make a game of it and barely lose.
Yeah.
So it's like even the Cowboys who are going to cowboy still like did something we didn't expect.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that game was like, I think it was like 28-6 at the start of the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden it was 28-25. And they're trying to get the ball back with 3 timeouts left. But
Yeah.
yeah, that dream didn't live very long, as we saw.
Yeah.
But a lot of ugly, weird games today, but it's pretty entertaining NFL action. It's awesome that you have Red Zone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely the way to consume football as a fan, I think.
It almost makes me look forward to our bye week so we can just watch Red Zone all day.
Yeah. Or like next week we can because we play on Monday night.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. But yeah, I guess don't really have anything more to say about Seahawks Dolphins game. I think both our predictions were pretty conservative looking back at it because I don't know how I ever thought Skylar Thompson was going to put up 17 points. I guess I had too much faith in Mike McDaniel to scheme
Mm-hmm.
some things up, and he had a few nice designs for plays in the first half, but we were like, okay, try to like they moved between the 20s pretty well for a couple drives, but every time they got into the red zone, it was like hopeless for them to do anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I mentioned it, but we got 6 sacks today. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Ryan, we are about to run out of time because I don't pay for Zoom
Right,
like
right.
the um but yeah. Um
I
I don't
was
have
pretty
I don't
much
have a whole lot more to add,
yeah,
but
I was wrapped up with everything I needed to say about that Dolphins game, I think.
yeah,
So
cool.
yeah, 3-0, baby. Gotta love it.
Yeah, I know, and I think we have a good chance to be 4-0 next weekend because we always seem to play Detroit tough. And is it a road game, right? It's a
It's a
road game.
road game, but it's also a Monday night game, which I mean, I don't think this matters at all. Disclaimer. But the Seahawks have the best record of any NFL team on Monday night, win percentage wise. So we do tend to do very well on the Mondays.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have a full breakdown and preview of that game coming up here in probably about, I don't know, what do you think, 3 or 4 days? Wednesday, Thursday, something like that.
Yeah, probably when middle of the week sometime.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a wrap for me. You got anything else?
Nope. Other than go Hawks and I'm 0-3 in fantasy and free pizza, and that sucks.
I am somehow staring at 3-0 and my team sucks. So
I'm gonna have like 450 points against me through 3 weeks.
that's brutal. I've been there though, man,
Yeah.
for sure.
All right. Well, this was fun. We'll do it all next week.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.
Yep. Later, guys.